Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. DZ Tribe, Josh Thomas, super glad to have you here. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Do Zone podcast on Apple and or Spotify. As a reminder, this podcast is brought to you by Unbreakable Teams. We fix broken systems for entrepreneurs so they can go farther faster. Learn more by going to unbreakableteams.com. Today's guest is Shawn Pollard. Shawn is a business operations specialist and a multi-million-dollar sales producer. Shawn has scaled the Elliott Group to an 8-figure company in 3 years as vice president. Shawn has coached and helped over 5,000 clients who now represent what winning looks like in all areas of their lives. Shawn is a culture creator, core value provider, and a servant heart leader. Shawn, welcome to the Do Zone. Say what's up to the tribe and tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Great question. Thank you. First of all, I'm glad to be here. Honored to be here with you. It's been a while. I know we've been trying to do this for about 6 months, I believe, 7 months. So I'm glad to be here. Honored to have you. And the question was something that you do that we don't think of. Is that right?
Yeah. What is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of?
Mastering the mundane, the unsexy stuff that we like to do. I work with a group, and I think you know who we are. They love the flashy social media and building their brand, but they don't love working in the CRM. So I think mastering the mundane, the unsexy stuff of business. And I had a great mentor before, you know, who is Ryan Stuman and Druby. Give them a shout out because that's how I got started on this path, and that's what led me into the systems and processes when I started with the Elliott Group. I became very good at understanding and analyzing data, where it goes, how to monetize it through the CRM. And that process was foreign to me just, four short years ago. And so master the mundane, unsexy.
Yeah. And that's really what it is. I was actually just writing about this yesterday. It's funny. That's the answer that you gave. And I love the candidness of anytime I ask that question, I always get this profound answer that goes back to basics. And it's funny how the question is, what is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of? And everybody says something basic because most people aren't thinking about the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you said. We got to master the mundane. We got to get down to the fundamentals because that's where everything happens. If you don't get the fundamentals right, the flashy stuff never materializes. It never happens. Give me an example of how this going in and learning the numbers and building those systems. Give me an example of how that kind of changed you, and what are some of the challenges you faced in changing that frame of mind?
That's a very good question. These are big questions. Amazing. When I started working for the Elliott Group, that story in itself is just a crazy story. How Andy and I came about. 2 car guys, 20 years in the business, and Andy was 21 years in the business. Andy Elliott decides to go into automotive sales training. I was a process-driven, down and in type of guy for automotive. I wanted to know why we were doing what we were doing, where our data was coming from in the beginning, where he was just go sell, run 1,000,000 miles an hour, anything that gets in front of him, lock that down. When I started working for Andy, I was constantly having to sell, but we didn't have CRM set up. So I had these notebooks, and I had all these notebooks of people that were buying as clients. And I put a number and a note and all these little things. And what happens, I'm constantly reselling the same people because I was their go-to guy in automotive, where all of a sudden I started selling more than Andy. And that's when I got his attention. He's like, dude, how are you selling more than me and my company? I started selling more seminars than him, more of our courses, because we do handheld selling still. We have some automations, but mainly we are a handheld, get on the phone, reach out through social media, make that connection. And once I got this process dialed in with the CRM, the scalability of the company just launched a rocket. They say if you truly want to create a movement, you have to be able to move the unmovable. Okay. Well, the unmovable is an automotive salesperson to get them to think bigger about themselves and who they are. So once we had systems and processes where we were pouring everything we had into our people, it just really took off from there. And now we're in solar. About 6 months ago, we got into solar and roofing as well, just from team building and culture. And then all of a sudden the processes and procedures that it takes to scale. It's everything.
So it was the fundamentals of just blocking and tackling and following those processes that is ultimately what made this company kind of hit the hockey stick growth.
Absolutely. 100%. And then we went into an industry, if you know a little bit about automotive, I talk to my automotive guys and my entrepreneurs guys. Automotive is a different mindset. They don't believe in training. You're mocked at in automotive. It's a really weird industry. You're mocked at when you go to your general manager 95, 98% of the time, and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to go pay for some training. I'm going to go train. You're mocked. Well, when you go into solar or real estate or these other industries and you say, hey, I'm going to go pay for some training. I'm going to go to a Stuman event. I'm going to go to your event, Josh. And I'm going to go train with these guys. You're like, yeah, man, go get it. Get some. So what we did is once we started pouring into our people, all right, that training is good, training is sexy, and got them to believe more in themselves. And I can take this into entrepreneur land as well. But once we got the people to believe more in themselves, like you're only going to scale to your believability of who you are. You're not going past that. So if you have a low limiting belief and you're stamped on by a manager that has a low limiting belief and they keep that ceiling right above your head, you're not going to scale past that. Our biggest growth outside of systems and processes was getting our people to believe more in them than what they saw in that mirror every morning. And that's a process and a lot of late hours coaching and grinding and doing the work with them, not giving them a course and telling, hey, settle in and log in. So our biggest takeoff after systems and processes was we poured our heart and everything we knew of 20 years in our niche into people and their believability. Remember, we didn't go after dealers until year 2. We went after individuals and they all called us crazy. Car salesmen will not train. I said, well, I don't work with car salesmen. What are you talking about? I said, I work with automotive business professionals, the ones that think differently, they act differently, they walk differently. And I got them to believe that in themselves. And that's when we just flooded the market with our content. Our seminars every month still pack out. We did 37 seminars in a row now because we got people to believe more in themselves. That transition was get them to make money because that's sexy, right? Well, what's not sexy? Okay, once you make the money, guys, what are automotive people notorious for? Spending their money, not paying the bill. Yeah, just being bad habits. Say, okay, now I got this group. In the first year, I had this young group of savages, about 180 of them right now, that they stuck with me since the beginning. I said, okay, now we got all this money. You don't go spend it. We're going to pay our taxes. We're going to do some things that I learned. And then all of a sudden, their believability and who they could become skyrocketed. And then the word just spread around the country about, hey, he's not only an automotive sales trainer, this Andy Elliott and his guy, Shawn, they're not just automotive sales trainers. They get the people to believe differently in who they are, see a brighter future, and go to war with them on a day-to-day on the forefront of selling cars and then managing their life. And that's when it started becoming the movement that has become today. Because it really is. With the amount of people we do business with on an individual base and our dealers, we've taken over the automotive space from the things that we've learned from guys like you and Apex, and just take that information. It was never sexy. Well, we mastered the mundane.
Well, and here's what's really interesting. What I'm hearing here is there are these fundamentals, and you are using these fundamentals almost as a tool to give that intangible thing of the belief, the believability, and the confidence, and the feeling like they're worth something. You can't measure that. That's not a system and a process that you can. That's not mundane. That's anything but you had to get that foundation in place in order for the next thing to be possible. And I find the relationship between the two fascinating. We want the sexy believability, but we have to nail down the processes in order to even make it possible.
Absolutely. Everybody wants a Ferrari in a big house, it seems like. But nobody a Ferrari price. I can tell you that right now because you see it in the market. You know, I look at these life coaches here. I'm here in Scottsdale now, and I pay a lot of attention to our market. Grant Cardone just bought a headquarters 10 miles from us. So we have Grant Cardone. We bumped into him quite a bit. His team, his training, and everybody says, well, you guys are a lot like Grant Cardone. We started out in automotive and you guys are pivoting. We're not pivoting. The market naturally took us there because they started reaching out for sales training because our talk is about processes and systems. Get that down. And I can show you how we've done it, like you've done it, right? This automation reminded me. I knew I had you on the calendar, but I got a text message. I got an email. I got another text message. And then finally an hour later and then 30 minutes later, I'm not missing this call. You just bombarded me with where I needed to be at 2:00. We do that with our clients with values, systems, and processes. But then again, nobody is there for their client in the long term. Actually, I'll take that back. Not everybody, but most of the people, they sell and then they go away from their clients. We sell and we immerse you in our culture. We get you into our Facebook group. We give you the free Zoom calls with me and Andy. And we built this tribe of people that no longer look to other trainers, but us to fulfill the role of getting better in mind, body, spirituality, and their money. And that grew over the last year. Because once I started helping car guys and gals make money, they went and it all up. They went and spent it all and they were broke again. We took someone, hundreds and hundreds of people, for making 5 to 15 grand and they're still broke. Didn't make sense to us. Okay. We reel them in with the talk of making more money, right? Then we teach them money. Then we talk about relationships and then body. I didn't work out to get muscles. I worked out for the discipline and to learn delayed gratification. And that's how we built our company, because most people sell something, and you know this, Josh, they sell their client a $500 to $50,000 product. They never hear from them again. It's just like, it's so transactional, where I only do business now at a point in my life with people I want to do business with. It's a really good thing that anybody can build, but you have to decide, what am I willing to sacrifice? And that's going to be your time to get started. And
so I'd love to hear the story that you were sharing with me earlier. You were at SolarCon, and the idea of that 80% base that's unrecruitable. Could you just kind of retell that story a little bit? Because it was fascinating, the insight that you were able to have and the results that it was able to create.
Massive results. It's actually kind of saved, not saved, we didn't need the money or anything, but it saved the event for us, right? We go down there to sell. That's what you're there. That's what SolarCon's for. That's what NADA is for. That's what these certain things that we go to within our industry, or, like a SolarCon, you go there to represent your brand and sell your products and services. Day one, not so much. Day two, not so much. We're doing okay. Everybody's just doing okay. Well, Andy, actually, let me take a step back. Bradley, 3 months ago, we're talking over the phone. We're talking about this irrecruitable sales team. He goes, I don't know how you and Andy do it. And I explained it to him at this point. He goes, so if I gave you $5 million, $6 million, Shawn, right now, you wouldn't leave Andy? I said, as dumb as that sounds, that's probably a really poor business decision. I'm not recruitable. You can't buy me. You can't buy my team either. He goes, I beg to differ. Some of them would take the money for $5 million. I said, well, here's why they won't, Brad, which leads me into SolarCon. Day two, we're going out there and we're just not figuring out the works of it. The numbers, the sales aren't happening. I said, Andy, switch your message. What are we known for as a company internally, and the people that are doing business with us at a high level, and we're building their sales teams? Like right now, we're building a team for Rob Bailey. The same philosophy. He's Flag Nor Fell is his brand, and he's a music singer, right? We're building a sales team based on this theory. You have your top 20 can go anywhere they want. They can leave me. They can go work anywhere they want. They can leave you. They can leave anybody else's company. They'll read just fine. They're the top 20% of the market. The bottom 80. If you make the bottom 80 great, they won't leave you. Very few will leave you. If you take someone who's struggling, who has purpose, a good heart, has a vision, and they're just not making it because they don't have the skills equipped, and you put that time into them and you nurture them, they will go up to the 20%. That is an unrecruitable salesperson. So after day two, I was like, Andy, switch the message, man. Because Andy's on stage with thousands of people in the audience talking about sales and how we do our business and what we're about. And I'm like, switch the message. What are we even better at than sales training? Building the baddest ass sales teams the country's ever seen. Honorable, core values, culture. That's what we breathe in the LA group. So Andy switches the message. He goes out to SolarCon. He tells this story about an unrecruitable sales team starts with leadership. The leadership that you have to bring to create an unrecruitable sales team starts with your bottom 80. You're churning these men and women over and over and over instead of giving them the tools and the skill set needed to thrive in your company, elevating them to the top 20. You do that, they become loyal. They become unrecruitable. But no one wants to take the time to do that because that's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work to create that. Well, if you do it, you become unstoppable. So he goes on 30 minutes. It's actually on YouTube right now, Andy Elliott YouTube. If you go into it, it's the latest video we just dropped. That speech right there, that speech ends. 20 minutes later, Andy comes back to the booth, and we are aligned, walls to walls, with leaderships, owners, managers, anybody who was everybody at SolarCon was packed in our booth the rest of the evening. Sales went through the roof because we have a leadership program, right? Sales went through the roof. really saved the weekend as far as from the money standpoint, all because we talked about leadership and culture and building an unrecruitable sales team, because everybody wants one. Very few are successful doing it. Josh, you know our team. You've seen it. Have you seen anything like our sales team in this country?
I have not once.
I haven't found it. So I took everything that Andy wanted. He had this vision when I first met him. He goes, I want this. And it was so rare. I was like, Andy, you're not going to be able to build that, man. He goes, see, that's what everybody says, Shawn. Everybody tells me that. I need you to be the guy that thinks differently. I need you to go learn the skills, go learn from these guys that, you pay this Apex all this money. They talk about culture and core values, go build it. And so I rewrapped my mind and I said, I am going to do this. This is going to happen. And everybody we recruited, if you ask me, why did I hire them? For who they could become. I didn't hire superstars, Josh. You look at my team and you look at them now, you're like, wow, you got a bunch of superstars. Nah, not when I hired them. When I hired them, they were the last pick of the dealership. They started scaling in the company. They became a product of Andy's training. And when I brought them aboard, they left $150,000 to $280,000, $300,000 jobs because they were the right person to come to our culture and grow and scale. And everybody that walks in those doors and starts from us, they fail miserably in the beginning. Miserably. But I hire on potential, not skill.
Yeah, and there's a saying in real estate. So I'm in real estate education. We help people buy apartment buildings, and we talk about how good deals are not found, they're made. And so we go out there and everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to go find a good deal. But what you're going to find is a bunch of okay deals. And you're never going to find a good one because they get scooped up immediately. And so how do you still make money? We have to take the okay deal and you have to dig around and make it a good deal in order for it to work. And what I'm hearing from you is, hey, good leaders, they're not found, they're made. And that's what I've kind of noticed that as well. It's like, I always thought that like I wasn't this anointed one because there was somebody else that was always a better leader or a better executor, a better salesperson, a better anything than me. And that's until I realized like, well, there's nothing different about that person. It's just that they were formed into that. They were in an environment that allowed them to become that type of person. And that's the environment you're talking about creating.
1,000%. You know why people don't stick with it? It's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to run a show 24/7. Here's the first thing you have to understand when you're in this process, the phase that we're in. One, I have to outwork everybody by 150%. Because I know in my heart, and I don't get mad when they don't do it, if I want 100% of my people, I need to work at 200. I'm the first one to hear, I'm the last one to leave. To set the example of what the leadership should be. People come to me like this, Shawn, why are you still working this much? You guys have done so much. Dude, we have just started. So I never let what our business accomplishments dictate who I think I am. I'm the underdog. I'm the scrapper. If you don't know my story, it's a crazy one, right? I don't know if I should go into it. Should I go into it for
give us a taste. This is about you, man.
Okay, so from 19, I got in the car business because I had my child. My wife and I have been together for 25 years now, and I was in the automotive industry for 20 years. From 19 to 34, I had a really good thing going on. 34, actually at 19, take this step back. 19, I had massive pain. My best friend was murdered, and I was with him that night when he died. So I battled through pain and adversity. I know pain at a high level. And then from about 23, when I got that dark side kind of handled, massively suppressed it is what I did. I didn't handle it properly. From about 23 to 33, 34 years old, I went on a really good run, made a lot of money, stacked a lot of cash. And then my 10-year-old almost dies from a heart condition. And I collapsed to prescription drugs and alcohol at a very high level in gambling, very bad gambling addiction to numb the pain. And the reason why I tell you that is when I met Andy, it was 6 months after I made the decision to stop, go clean and sober. And I didn't go through rehab or any treatment. I just stopped. I stopped. Started reading some Dr. Jordan Peterson, Why We Do What We Do, The Subconscious Mind, all these things. And I really wrapped myself in a new addiction, learning why I did what I did. Why did I flush my life, almost lose my marriage? My daughter wasn't respecting me at all. She didn't want to see dad anymore. And all of a sudden, I just flipped it. Leaders are made. Because when I met Andy, I was 230 pounds as a big boy. And now I'm down to about 195 pounds, and I'm muscle and workout. And I tell you that because when he met me, I asked him a year later, why did you hire me? I could see it in your eyes, Shawn. You were begging for the right opportunity to show the whole fucking world who you are. And now it's not about proving anybody wrong anymore. You're past that stage. Now it's about impact for our people and what you can bring to the table. He helped me become the leader I am today, along with two other mentors in my life. You know who they are. And I've been running with them ever since. And I don't look back. I don't, when I fail and Andy gets on my ass, man, because my failures now are big failures. They cost us a lot of money if I fail. That's just it, because we're a startup company still. So some of my failures have cost us a couple $100,000, $300,000. I mean, it's just, they're not fun. But he believes in me because he created the leader that he needed for this company. So yes, I don't care how old you are. At 39, I came off that crap, rededicated my life. My new addiction was fitness and mindset. And then I meet the right man at the right time, which is through a visualization process. And he takes me on this journey to where we are today. Anybody, anywhere, anytime is built for more. And I do believe everybody has a calling. My calling is to serve people. I do this for free, man. If they give me a hut out back, I live here. So leaders are born, or not born, they are made. They truly are. They are made, they are created if they're willing to follow a process. The problem I see in leaders, the older you get, the more you have to suppress your pride and ego to listen to the person that wants to serve you, and most will not do it. Nah, not me. And I see it all the time because now I'm working with bigger companies. We are working with bigger companies. I see it from ownership to management to the salesperson. The older they are as a man, women are really open to conforming and getting better naturally. They'll swallow that pride and ego shit faster than men will. But men, they get to a certain age, around 30, 35 and up, you can't tell me anything. Even if they want to try to learn or change, I have found the only way you're going to really truly build a badass leader, they hit rock bottom on their own and they wave their hand and say, hey, I want help. I'm ready. Or they lived a mundane, boring ass life long enough to where like, I don't want to do this anymore. Because I have men that come out of the woodwork now that have great credit, all the money, poor relationship, but they're still married to the same woman. They don't have sex anymore. All these things going on, and they reach out and say, hey, man, I need some of what you guys got. Can you help me? No. Are you willing to help yourself first? Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a door. I'm going to crack it for you. If you don't kick it in, that's on you. So those are the two people that I really specialize in, I think. You hit rock bottom, you're like, okay, I'm ready. And you've had a mundane life long enough, dude. And that leader is ready to shine.
And here's the thing that both of those guys have in common. You hit rock bottom. That gives you the opportunity to raise your hand and take your own control and say, yep, you know what? I'm still in control. I'm in control of deciding that I'm going to make myself better. And if you've lived the mundane life and you're tired of it, you're bored, you're still in, okay, I'm making the decision now to do something different. And what you're doing there, Shawn, is you're circumventing that ego problem because it feels like I'm still in control. And so my ego's not bruised. And that's really what I hear is happening there. It's those moments where it's like, this is your tiny window of opportunity to basically neutralize the ego and say, all right, it's time. Are you ready? It's time. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yep. 100%.
I love
that.
Another
thing too with this, have you ever been moved in your life? Someone like moved you?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's where you can move people. For the longest time in the automotive industry, this is not pride or ego, but I was probably really good, better than most, just by the money that I made and the work ethic that I had as a young man, because I had a child in high school, been married with my wife since high school. I was always told I was an idiot. Your wife and you are never going to make it. I had this chip on my shoulder like, dude, I'm not going to lose. I'm a wrestler, wrestled my whole life. And so when I hit rock bottom and started to come out of it, and then Andy showed me this path, he really moved me financially, rebuilt my finances, rebuilt my credit, rebuilt my marriage. My wife and I are on fire again. Rebuilt my relationship with my children. So whether I'm 1 month or 6 years, or 1 month or 3.5 years ahead of you, I've been moved. Therefore, I know how to move you. So when you come in with an alcohol addiction or a prescription drug addiction or a marriage problem or your children, you want your children to look at you as their superhero, I got you. I just did that. On top of, I built an 8-figure company with Andy, and we just surpassed our 30th employee in sales, 64 men and women total. in our organization. And we've got a building here in Scottsdale. It's 55,000 square foot, from Oklahoma, 500, 600 square foot, just 3 years ago, with massive, massive action, a vision, a plan, and a just relentless work ethic backed by focus. I know anybody can do this. I know it. You can't tell. Like, people tell me your story. Doesn't matter. It's not permanent. It's not permanent. The only thing that's permanent, I think Tony Robbins said this, the only thing that's permanent is your soul. So any situation you're in, you can move out of. You can make a choice. You can find the right mentor. And I'll tell you what, dude, I found Ryan Stewman 5 years ago, started dabbling in his stuff, which led me into finding the right man to lead me into this vision, which was Andy. So everything happens for a reason, but I believed. I fell back in love with myself and believed.
I love that. And so who is it that you are wanting to connect with now? Like, speak to that person directly right now and tell them where they should go and how they can connect with you.
You go to the Elliott, like a way to connect with me directly.
Yeah. However you want. First of all, who is it? Who is that person right now? If you could speak to them right now, describe their pain and describe where they are, and then tell them what to do next.
Yeah. So if it's not right now, I'll just answer the question. Right now, I love, no matter what age, a little bit over 25 is nice, but 18 to 65. You're in a part in your life, and you've gone through life, you've gotten your ass kicked, you're about ready to give up, but you know you're going to give it one last hurrah, one last fight, whether it's in entrepreneurship, sales training, your relationship. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to that man or woman. I've saved too many marriages. I've gotten too many men and women off drugs and alcohol. That's my ideal client, because now I'm at a point where the money's nice, but I don't need money. You don't have to pay me for my work until we go into a business transaction. I just want to talk to you, man. I got a Facebook group with these men and women called the Elliott Army, and they come in, and once you get in and you start realizing, shit, dude, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. All these people have these issues, and we have women that were raped, changing their lives, man. Men at the lowest point at 35, 55. My oldest, wealthiest client is 72. Reaches out. He goes, I like the way you speak, kid. I got this amount of money, and this is what I've done, and I've burned every bridge I've ever had in my life. And I hate myself. My wife can't stand me. I've been a client of mine for 2 years, completely recreated his life, started with the physical, then the mental, and the relationship. So if you're like rock bottom, falling down, you're aware that, hey, this isn't working. I want to change. I'm not here to drag anybody. I'm not here to convince you that you can go have a better life. You have to be aware, and you don't need money. You don't. I've helped too many people go make the money. But if you're in pain and you want to fix it, dude, my life was a mess 3.5 years ago. Shouldn't be here, is what I was told myself. And now I'm like, dude, I'm here for a reason. That's the person I want to talk to. They're my favorite. Because listen, guys with money, men and women with money that got it going on, they just want to add to. That's me helping them build their sell team. That's easy. That's it. That's easy because the owner's bought in, man. So the money, the exchange of money for my resources and what I can do with your sales team, that's fantastic. There's nothing more fulfilling than taking somebody with no hope, giving them hope, and then showing them a path, and they do it. Dude, it's the greatest thing I've ever been a part of. And I haven't been a part of it for only about 3 years. I've been doing this, 2 years at the highest level, really helping people recreate their lives through what I've gone through. That's the most rewarding thing I've ever been through in my life. And it's also fulfilling a calling that my grandma, who has passed on 2 years ago, she told me I was built for this. In 2017, and my grandma, did you just listen to what I told you? I told you I'm struggling with a lot of things right now. She goes, yeah, that's God's way. You have to go through this path to get to where you're going to go, but you're built to lead men and women. Future, Shawn, that's where you're going through what you've gone through in your life with your son, with your buddy being murdered, your son almost dying. This drug addiction. She was the first person I told had a drug addiction. She was, yeah, you're supposed to be doing all this. This is God's will. I'm like, you are crazy, lady. Grandma, you listen to what I'm saying? She goes, it's all for a purpose. God has a plan for you. And I believe that now for the first time. So if you're down on your luck, you need a little pep talk, or you're just a mess right now, and you need reorganization, some strategies for your life, you're my favorite person.
Love that. Where can they go to connect with you?
To me personally, you go to Elliott247.com, and there's a little form you can fill out. It says Project 500. Fill out that information and put that you want to talk to me directly. I will personally call you. It won't be my team. It won't be my team. So www.elliott247.com. You'll see a little button that says Project 500. You click on that, nothing will be sold to you. You're not going to get pitched. You're not going to get offered anything. We're going to show you a path. But if you put, I want to speak to Shawn, I will be the one calling you.
Love it. That's great, man. We're going to wrap from here. Thank you so much, Shawn Pollard, for joining us and sharing some wisdom about how you get stuff done, and for all of your inspirational stories. And I know that is going to resonate with a ton of people who are listening to this right now. And so you can connect with Shawn directly by going to Elliott247.com and select Project 500. Is that right?
That's correct.
Project 500. Ask to speak to Shawn directly, and he will call you personally, not his team. Once again, that's Elliott247.com, Project 500. And once again, if you want to keep hearing great content like this, be sure to follow and subscribe to the Do Zone podcast on Apple or Spotify. If you're looking to break through to the next level with your business, but you just don't have the time or tools to do so on your own, we got your back. Go to unbreakableteams.com now to learn more. Until next time, remember, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. What are you going to do with yours?